On the third afternoon of a Caribbean sailing, a man I know caught his foot on a wet step near the pool, went down hard, and fractured his wrist. The ship's little clinic said it cleanly enough, and that part was fine. What stunned him was the bill they slid across the counter on his way out, several $1,000s, due right there, card or cash, before he could leave the room. No insurance desk to argue with, no statement mailed home later, no negotiating any of it. That is what dangerous actually looks like on a cruise once you are over 65. It is almost never the falling overboard drama. It is the ordinary, preventable things, a fall, a missed pill, a fine, a bill, that quietly cost older travelers the most. So here are the cruise mistakes that genuinely cost us money, health, and dignity, the heaviest first, and down to the ones that only sting. We start with one that even the people who cruise the most still get wrong. Number one, opening your balcony door and your cabin door at the same time. It is not the obvious kind of mistake, but it is exactly how people get hurt. Open the door to the hallway while the balcony slider is already open and the ship's air pressure turns your cabin into a wind tunnel for a few seconds. Loose papers go flying, sometimes right off the balcony and into the ocean, your passport, your planner, the cash on the dresser. Worse, the doors can slam with real force. A travel agent in training once had a cabin door blow her straight back into the corridor because her roommate had the balcony open and fingers get caught in slamming doors. At our age, a broken hand is not a small thing. So close one door before you open the other, and tell everyone in the cabin the same rule, especially if grandchildren are sharing the room. Number two, drinking like you are 30 on a moving ship. The floors are sometimes wet, the ship is rocking, and your balance after 65 is not what it was at the bar in college. Add 3 or 4 drinks to that, and you have the most common way older travelers actually get hurt at sea. Not an overboard drama, but a simple fall near a stairwell or a slick pool deck. The kind that ends in a fractured hip and a cruise spent in the medical center. There is a second trap too, because a lot of us take medications that do not mix well with alcohol, and a drink hits harder at sea than it does at home. I am not telling you to skip the wine, so pour yourself a glass and enjoy it slowly. Just pace yourself, eat while you drink, keep water going alongside, and hold the railing on the stairs whether you have had a drink or not. Know your limit and stop a glass short of it. Number 3, packing your medications in your checked luggage. The single most important bag on a cruise is the one that never leaves your hand. Your medications belong in your carry-on in their original labeled bottles and nowhere else. This bites harder for older travelers than for almost anyone else aboard. Checked bags get handed to porters at the terminal and vanish for hours, sometimes most of the day, and they occasionally go missing entirely. If your blood pressure pills, your heart medication, or your insulin are buried inside that bag, you are rationing or going without on day 1. Do not count on the ship to refill anything because the onboard shop carries only the basics at a steep markup, and your specific prescription almost certainly will not be there. Bring a few extra days of everything beyond the length of the cruise in case a port gets skipped or the trip runs long. Number 4, brushing off the muster drill. Let me clear up the nonsense first because the scare videos get this badly wrong. You cannot really skip the muster drill. On most modern lines, you watch a short safety video on your cabin television, then walk to your assigned station and tap your cruise card to check in, and until you do, on many ships, your key card simply stops working. The ship does not sail until everyone is counted, so nobody is going to fine you out of nowhere for being lazy about it. What actually matters is paying attention, because the details that matter are different at our age. If you use a wheelchair, a walker, or a scooter, the crew may route you to a separate accessibility station away from the rest of your group. Tell your family exactly where you are going, because I have heard of a traveler being logged as a missing person while her relatives stood at the wrong station wondering where she went. Learn this one rule cold too. If the real alarm ever sounds while you are far from your cabin, do not go back for your life jacket. Go straight to your muster station where the crew hands out life preservers. That single detail has saved lives. Number 5, perching on your balcony railing for a photo. There is a fear here you can let go of completely. The railings are not flimsy, they are solid steel, chest high, and bolted to the structure of the ship, so you are not going to lean against one and tumble over. A welder watching one of these videos said exactly that, and he is right. The real danger is a smaller, truer one. The people who actually go over are almost always sitting on the rail, standing on it, or perched on a chair to get a better photo, and usually after a few drinks. That is a completely different thing, and it is entirely avoidable. So treat the balcony as the gift it is. Sit in the chair, feel the breeze, take all the photos you want with both feet on the deck. Just never put your body weight on top of that railing and never let a grandchild climb up for a look. The view is exactly as good from the chair. Number 6, lighting a cigarette or a vape in your cabin. The rules on this are stricter than most people realize, and they apply to cigarettes, cigars, vapes, and the legal at home cannabis products too. Smoking in your cabin or on your private balcony is banned on nearly every line, and the reason is not fussiness. A fire at sea is one of the few things that genuinely terrifies the crew because there is nowhere to run. The detectors are extremely sensitive and the penalties are not gentle. Most lines charge a cleaning fee that runs to several $100s, and passengers caught at it have been put off the ship at the next port with no refund. I will be honest, the vape starts a fire angle is overblown because the real issue with a vape is the same smoking ban plus the lithium battery, not an open flame. If you smoke, you are not banished from the ship. There are designated areas, usually on an open deck, and some lines sell a smoking pass, so use those, check the posted hours, and you will be perfectly fine. Number 7, an open flame in your cabin, even a little candle. It sits in the same family as the last one, and it earns its own number because people do not think of a candle as smoking. Open flame of any kind is a hard no in a cabin. No candles, no incense, no little oil burner, no matches left lying out. The smoke detectors on a ship are far touchier than the one in your kitchen, and a single stick of incense has set off alarms and triggered partial evacuations. A neighbor of mine on one sailing lit some incense and had security at the door within minutes because the cabin next door smelled it and called it in. The fine for a false alarm can run several $100s, and a nighttime incident can get you removed at the next port. If you want the cozy glow or the scent, the gift shops sell battery-operated candles, and a small plug-in diffuser with no flame does the same job. Bring those instead, and nobody bothers you. Number 8, flushing anything the ship does not allow. Cruise toilets run on a powerful vacuum system, not the gentle gravity flush at home, and they clog easily and spectacularly. When one goes, it does not just affect you because it can knock out the plumbing for your whole bank of cabins, and the crew can trace exactly which room caused it. The only things that belong down there are what comes out of you and the ship's own toilet paper. Facial tissue expands when it gets wet and will not break down. Wet wipes are not flushable no matter what the package claims, and paper towels, cotton pads, and feminine products all jam the works the same way. A couple I know had their toilet fail mid-cruise, and the crew found that someone up the line had flushed something they should not have, blocking the entire row. Use the small bin in the bathroom for everything else. And if you are sailing with grandchildren, walk them through this on day 1 because little ones love that loud section and will absolutely test it. Number 9, surge protectors, extension cords, and irons in your bag. Cabins are short on outlets, I know. 2 if you are lucky, often nowhere near the bed, but the fix you reach for at home is exactly the thing that gets confiscated at the gangway. Surge-protected power strips are banned on most lines because of how the ship's electrical system is wired, and screeners will pull yours out of your bag. The same goes for many extension cords and for irons and steamers, which are treated as a fire risk. You will get the item back at the end of the cruise, but you are without it for the trip, and your embarkation slows to a crawl while they dig through your luggage. Pack a cruise-approved power strip with no surge protection or a simple multi-port USB cube, both of which are allowed, and solve the outlet shortage. For wrinkles, the ship has a laundry and pressing service, and a travel bottle of wrinkle release spray weighs almost nothing in your bag. Number 10, trusting the cabin safe with anything truly valuable. The little safe in your cabin is fine for a wallet during dinner. It is not Fort Knox, though, and the crew knows that better than you do. Most of these safes have a master override code or can be reset by staff, and some of the older ones can be coaxed open with little effort. More than one traveler has come back to find the safe opened and cash gone from the wallet inside, with no real recourse afterward. One woman's mother lost a diamond necklace she had owned for years exactly that way, and there was nothing anyone could do about it. So the verdict is simple. Leave the good jewelry at home because you do not need it on a ship, and a cheap watch makes you a far less interesting target. Keep your passport on you or split it from your cash so a single bad moment never cleans you out all at once. For anything truly irreplaceable, the front desk usually has a larger, better safe at reception, and that is where it belongs. Number 11, the passport that quietly expired in a drawer. Two passport mistakes here, both able to end your trip before it starts. The first is the 6-month rule. Many countries will refuse to let you in, and the cruise line will refuse to board you if your passport expires within 6 months of your travel dates. People over 65 get caught by this constantly because the passport sat in a drawer for years between trips and nobody thought to check the date. The second is putting that passport anywhere but on your person at embarkation. We covered medications going in the carry-on, and your passport rides right there with them, never in a checked bag that has wandered off with the porters. Without it, you cannot check in, and you watch the ship board without you. So pull your passport out today and read the expiration date. If it falls inside 6 months of any trip you have booked, renew it now because the processing takes time. Keep a photo of the picture page on your phone and a paper copy in a second bag in case the original is ever lost ashore. Number 12, the medical bill nobody sees coming. Remember the man at the start handed a bill for his wrist before he could leave the clinic? Here is why that happens, and it is the most expensive surprise on this whole list. Your regular health insurance, Medicare included, generally stops working at the waterline. The ship's medical center is not in your network, and it is not a hospital. It is a small clinic that bills you in full, on the spot, hundreds of dollars just to be seen, and a great deal more if anything serious happens. Worse, a medical evacuation, getting you off a moving ship and into a hospital ashore, can cost more than your cruise, your airfare, and your hotel put together. The fix is one boring sentence you have heard 100 times, and I am going to say it anyway because it is the single most important purchase of the trip. Buy a travel medical policy with evacuation coverage before you sail. Everything else on this list saves you a few dollars or a headache. This one stands between a bad afternoon and a bill that follows you home for years, so it is the one add-on you should never skip. Number 13, sailing without a basic medicine kit. You will not find this in the brochure, but it is one of the most common ways an older traveler loses days of a cruise. A stomach bug, a bout of diarrhea, a long flight beforehand, and suddenly you are dehydrated, lightheaded, and stuck in the cabin. For us, dehydration is not a minor thing because it puts people in the medical center fast and it sneaks up without much warning. A couple I sailed near did not pack so much as an aspirin. The wife got badly dehydrated, needed the ship's doctor, was confined to the cabin until she cleared, missed their first port, and walked away with a bill over $300, all for something a few dollars of supplies would have headed off entirely. So build a small kit and keep it in your carry-on. An anti-diarrheal, an antacid, pain reliever, motion sickness tablets or patches, electrolyte packets you can stir into water, and a few adhesive bandages. The onboard shop carries some of this, but you will pay several times the drugstore price for it, and you may need it at 2 in the morning when the shop is long shut. That little zip bag is the best few dollars you will spend all week. Number 14, trusting hand sanitizer to keep you well. Cruise ships and norovirus go together, and the bug that ruins a cruise is the same one that runs through every school every winter. The reflex is to squirt the gel at every dispenser and feel protected. The trouble is that hand sanitizer does not actually kill norovirus. Only soap and warm water scrubbed for a good 20 seconds lifts it off your skin. So wash up often and properly before every meal and after touching the rails, the elevator buttons, the buffet tongs. Use the gel as a backup when there is no sink nearby, never as your main line of defense. A couple of small habits help too. Press elevator buttons with a knuckle, push doors with the back of your hand, and always use the serving utensils rather than your fingers at the buffet. None of this is about living in fear of the ship. It is the same common sense you already use at home, applied to a place where a few thousand people share every single handrail. Number 15, the wrong ship for the trip you actually want. This is not a safety rule. It is a happiness rule, and it is the one I most wish older travelers heard before they booked. Not every ship is built for you, and sailing on the wrong one can sour the whole week. If you want calm evenings, good food, and quiet public rooms, the giant ships packed with water slides, go-karts, and arcades are not your friend. Those amenities are a magnet for crowds and children, and you will spend the trip wading through both. A traveler I met wanted nothing more than to dance to live music in the evenings and instead spent 7 days dodging other people's unsupervised kids. He never cruised again, which is a real shame because he had simply booked the wrong ship for the man he was. There are two levers that fix this completely. Choose your line, leaning toward the calmer, more adult-oriented ones, and choose your timing just as carefully. Sail in the shoulder months and steer well clear of the holidays and summer break. Off-season, the very same vessel runs calmer in every room with shorter lines and often a lower fare. This one decision shapes your trip more than any other on this list. Number 16, letting the grandchildren roam the ship alone. If you are cruising with grandchildren, this one sits squarely on you, and it carries both a safety cost and a financial one. A ship is a maze of stairwells, pools, open decks, and elevators, and a small child can drift a remarkable distance in just a few minutes. Travelers report finding other people's young children alone in the casino late at night or padding into the coffee shop in their pajamas every morning with no adult anywhere in sight. That is a family using the ship as a babysitter, and it is exactly how a child gets hurt or lost. There is a money angle for you specifically too, because whatever a child in your care breaks or triggers an alarm, damage to the cabin, you are the one who pays for it. The answer is easy and built right into the ship. Use the kids club, which is supervised and genuinely good on the family lines. Take turns with another adult in your group and never leave a child alone in the cabin where the balcony and the outlets become real hazards. Do that and you actually get to relax on your own vacation. Number 17, treating your cabin steward as invisible. The person who cleans your cabin twice a day has more quiet influence over your trip than anyone else on the ship, and how you treat them shows up in your week, one small kindness at a time. This is not about money first. A simple hello, a thank you, learning their name, and not leaving your cabin trashed will earn you better care than any tip. Stewards remember who is kind and who is rude, and they have real discretion over the small things that make a difference, the extra towels, the speedy fix when something breaks, the request that gets handled before you even ask twice. Be decent and a lot of doors open. A small tip on top of the automatic gratuity, given with a word of thanks in the first day or two rather than saved for the end, tends to pay for itself many times over the rest of the week. I will give you the honest counterpoint since cruisers argue about this endlessly. The daily gratuity is already on your bill, so strictly speaking, you owe nothing extra, but that early bit of generosity and genuine courtesy comes back to you every single time. That part is your call. Just never be the rude one in the hallway. Number 18, assuming the minibar is free. That little fridge will not hurt you, but it will quietly pad your bill, and on a list about what cruising costs us, that counts too, so it earns its spot. Even if you bought the drink package, the sodas and snacks in that cabin fridge are almost never included. On some ships, just lifting a bottle off the sensor shelf adds it to your bill. People get home, look at the final statement, and find $40 or $50 of mystery charges for things they barely touched. One small request solves two problems at once. On the first day, ask your cabin steward to empty the minibar completely, which the line will not charge you a cent for. Now, there is nothing to bump into accidentally, and you have an empty fridge for your own water, your snacks, or more importantly, any medication that needs to stay cold. Tell the steward what you stored in there so none of your own things get misread as consumed. Number 19, broadcasting your trip on social media in real time. That photo of your boarding pass or the live shot from the pool deck gives away more than it looks, and it cuts two ways against older travelers in particular. Back home, a public feed announcing that you are at sea for 10 days tells every passing eye that your house is sitting empty and houses get burglarized in exactly this way. On board, real-time posts can expose more than you realize. Thieves at busy ports watch the cruise hashtags, and a careless photo can show your cabin number on a wristband, your daily schedule, or the fact that your room is empty because you are off on an excursion. None of this means stay off your phone, just shift the timing of it. Post your photos after you are home or keep your accounts private while you travel, turn off location tagging before you leave, and never put a boarding pass or room key in a picture. The memories are every bit as good shared on Tuesday as they are live from the Lido deck. Number 20, leaving your phone out of airplane mode. The cost here is pure money, an avoidable few $100s sitting right in your pocket. The moment you lose land coverage, your phone reaches for the nearest tower it can find, the ship's own system or a foreign carrier where the roaming rates are brutal. Background apps keep sipping data even while the phone sits idle in a drawer. People come home to enormous bills for texts and weather checks they never thought twice about. The cruise itself did not cost that. The phone did, silently, all week long. The fix takes 10 seconds at the terminal. Put the phone in airplane mode, then turn the Wi-Fi back on if you want to use the ship's internet package so you control exactly what connects and what does not. If staying in touch matters, the lines sell their own messaging and internet plans, and a cheap overseas data eSIM is another route, but airplane mode is the free one that saves you from the ugly surprise at the end of the trip. Number 21, turning your cabin or balcony into a laundry. After a day at the pool, the instinct is to drape the wet towels and swimsuits over the balcony rail or string a line across the cabin, and both of those backfire on you in different ways. Hang anything on the balcony railing and the sea wind takes it, often within minutes. Your clothes blow overboard, or worse, onto a neighbor's balcony below. The lines ban it, the crew patrols for it, and you can be fined for it. Inside the cabin is not much better because there is little air movement and everything turns damp and musty by morning. If you really need to rinse something out, there is a sink and towel trick worth knowing. Wash in the sink with a little shower gel, not detergent, which foams too much for the ship's small drains. Then roll the wet item tightly inside a dry bath towel and press the water out. You can even stand on the bundle and hang it from the retractable line in the shower. It will be dry by morning and nothing of yours ends up in the ocean. Number 22, the independent shore excursion with no safety net. Get this one wrong and it can strand you at the port, watching the last tender pull away while everyone you sailed with is already back aboard. Independent tours are often cheaper, and plenty of them are excellent. But there is one rule that protects you, and it is worth real money to understand before you reserve a thing. When you book an excursion through the cruise line, the ship is responsible for you. If that tour runs late getting back, the ship waits. When you arrange the same outing independently and your bus gets stuck in traffic, the ship leaves on schedule, and now you are stranded in a foreign port at your own expense, scrambling to catch up at the next stop. For an older traveler without much local cash or language, that is a real nightmare, not an adventure. So if you go independent, choose operators that explicitly guarantee you back before all aboard, and build in a wide cushion of time on either end. For the far-flung or complicated ports, the ship-sponsored tour buys you a safety net that is often worth the higher price, and reserve the popular ones early either way because the good tours sell out weeks ahead of the sailing. Number 23, walking off the ship without checking your final bill. Your onboard account piles up charges all week and it is not always right. A mistaken charge, a duplicate drink, a minibar item you never touched, a gratuity added twice. These show up on the final statement more often than you would like, and once you are home and disembarked, sorting them out is a long and painful phone call. The mistake is assuming the bill is correct and strolling off the ship. The fix is to watch it as you go. Most ships let you check your running account on the cabin television or the line's app, so glance at it every couple of days. Then, on the last evening or the final morning, review the full statement at guest services and dispute anything that looks wrong while you are still standing on the ship and they can pull it up in front of you. It takes a few minutes. I once watched a duplicate dinner charge disappear in under 2 minutes the moment it was pointed out at the desk. Nobody reviews that statement for you, though. That last check is yours to do, and it is the easiest money you will make all trip. Number 24, pocketing the robes and towels as souvenirs. We will close on a light one because it catches more well-meaning people than you would ever guess. Those plush robes and thick towels feel like they were made to take home. They were not, and many lines now track them electronically. Robes, pool towels, and the like are inventory, not gifts, and a fair number of ships have them tagged. Walk off with one and the charge lands on your card, often anywhere from $45 for a towel to $95 or more for a robe, depending on the line, which is far more than the thing is worth. The small toiletries, the soap and shampoo and lotion, those genuinely are yours to keep, so enjoy those without a second thought. If you truly love the robe, ask at guest services because some lines will sell you a fresh one properly for less than the penalty. And bring your own beach towel from home for the pool deck and the shore, so you are never even tempted by the ships. You will find a far better souvenir at any port of call than a used bathrobe. So there you have all 24, and notice how few of them are the dramatic overboard nonsense the scare videos love to sell. The real dangers for those of us past 65 are the ordinary, fixable ones. Mind your footing, carry your meds and your coverage, read your bill before you leave, and pick the right ship for the trip you want, and a cruise goes back to being what it should be for us, about the least demanding way there is to see a good piece of the world. You have handled far harder things in your life than a cruise ship. Now go and enjoy the thing in peace. If you have been cruising for years, the comments are where the real teaching happens, so leave the one mistake on this list you have actually watched go wrong, in your own words, for the travelers booking their first cruise in years.